Welcome to Story Reading. The Tiger Story. Chang Feng was traveling in the southern part of China during the reign of Emperor Yuanhou in the year 806. Chang lived in the north and had never been to that part of the country before, so everything was new and fascinating to him. One day he stopped at an inn in the town of Hengshan. After he unpacked his luggage, he went out to take a walk. The countryside was very green, and there was a refreshing breeze that came over the mountain. He strolled on and on, enjoying everything enormously. He felt strangely excited. It was autumn, and the hillsides glowed with red and gold leaves from the trees. A beautiful white temple stood halfway up the mountain. As the sun began to set, the green and blue and purple colors of the fields mixed with the dazzling red and gold of the trees. It was like a magic land. Suddenly, Chang had a strange sensation. He felt weak. Stars danced before his eyes, and he was dizzy. He thought it was due to the altitude, or from the exertion of having walked so much, or perhaps he was affected by the colors and the light. A few feet in front of him, he saw a pasture that had a thick, soft lawn. He took off his jacket, put it on the grass, and lay down to rest. He felt a little better now. As he looked up at the blue sky, he thought how beautiful and peaceful nature was. Men fought for money and fame. They lied and cheated and killed for gain. But here was peace in nature. As he lay on the grass, he felt happy and relaxed. The smell of the green grass and a gentle breeze soon put him to sleep. When he woke up, he felt hungry and realized that it was late in the day. As he rolled his hands over his stomach, he touched soft fur. Quickly he sat up and saw that his body was covered with beautiful black stripes. As he stretched his arms, he felt a delightful new strength in them, thick and full of power. He yawned and was surprised at his own powerful roar. Looking down at his own face, he saw the tips of long white whiskers. Suddenly he realized that he had been transformed into a tiger. Now that is delightful, he thought to himself. I am no longer a man, but a tiger. It is not bad for a change. Eager to try his new strength, he ran into the woods and bounced from rock to rock, delighted with his new strength. He went up to the temple and knocked at the door with his paw, seeking to be admitted. It is a tiger. He heard a priest shouting inside. Do not open the door. Now that is too bad, he thought to himself. I only wanted to have supper with him and talk for a while. But of course I am a tiger now, and I suppose that makes a difference. He had an instinct that he should go down the hill to the village and seek food. As he hid behind a hedge on a country path, he saw a young woman passing by. I would like to talk to her, he said to himself. But as he started to move toward the woman, she screamed and ran for her life. What kind of life is this when everyone thinks you are an enemy? He wondered. I would not hurt her. He continued to walk, but then he realized that he was hungry, very hungry. I would like a nice fat pig, or a small juicy lamb, he thought to himself. When he thought this, his mouth watered, and he felt ashamed of himself. But there was this terrible hunger gnawing at his stomach, and he knew he had to eat something or die. He searched the village for a pig or calf or even a chicken, but they were all locked up. All doors were shut against him. As he crouched in a dark alley waiting for some stray animal to wander by, he heard people talking inside their houses. They were talking about a tiger that was loose in the village. Since there was no food to satisfy his hunger, he went back to the mountain. He lay in wait for something to come his way. All night he waited, but nothing came by. For a while he must have fallen asleep. He woke up before dawn. Some travelers were beginning to walk along the mountain road. Just then he saw a man run up to the travelers. "Have you seen Li Wen?" the man breathlessly asked the travelers. "He was finishing breakfast when we left the inn," said one of the travelers. "He should be coming along in just a few minutes." "I have been sent to meet him," said the man, "but I have never seen Li Wen before. Is he traveling alone, or is he accompanied by others? Please tell me what he is wearing, so that I will recognize him when he comes along." "Well," said the traveler, "Li Wen is with 2 other men. There are 3 of them traveling together. Li Wen is the one who is dressed in dark green clothing." As he listened to this conversation, something told the tiger that he must eat Li Wen. Just why he must eat that person he did not know. But he had a very strong feeling that Li Wen was destined to be his first victim. In fact, as the tiger listened to the conversation from his hiding place, it seemed as if it were taking place especially for his benefit. He had never seen or heard of Li Wen in his life and knew nothing about that individual. Still, he crouched in the tall grass and waited for his victim. Soon he saw Li Wen coming up the road with 2 other companions. When Li Wen came close enough, the tiger, Chang, rushed out, knocked him to the ground, and carried him up the mountain. The travelers were so frightened that they all ran away. Chang's hunger was satisfied, and he only felt as if he had had a bigger breakfast than usual. Satisfied with his meal, he lay down to take a nap. When he woke up, he thought he must have been crazy to eat a human being who had done him no harm. "I must have been mad to do such a thing," he said to himself. His head cleared, and he decided it was not such a pleasant life, prowling night after night for food. He remembered the night before, when hunger drove him to the village and up the mountain, and he could do nothing to stop himself. "I shall go back to that lawn and see if I can become a human being," he said to himself. He found the place on the lawn where he had left his jacket. Then he lay down on the lawn, wishing he might wake up and be a man again. He rolled over on the grass and in a few seconds found that he had been changed back to his human shape. Chang Feng was delighted, but he was puzzled by the strange experience. He put on his jacket and started back to the town. When he reached the inn, he found that he had been gone for exactly 24 hours. "Where have you been?" asked the innkeeper. "We have been searching for you all day. We were extremely worried about you. There was a tiger in the area. He was seen by a woman in the village last night, and this morning, a guest, Li Wen, was eaten by him. I am relieved to see that you have returned here safely." Chang Feng made up a story that he had spent the night in the temple. "You are very lucky," exclaimed the innkeeper, shaking his head. "It was in that vicinity that Li Wen was killed by the tiger." "No, the tiger will not eat me," Chang Feng replied. "Why not?" "He cannot," Chang Feng said mysteriously. Chang Feng kept the secret to himself, for he certainly could not reveal to anyone what had happened. Chang Feng went back to his home in Honan, and several years went by. One day he went to Huaiyang, a city on the Huai River. His friends made a dinner party for him, and much wine was consumed. Between the courses, the guests were each asked to tell about a strange experience. Chang Feng began to tell his own story, and it happened that one of the guests was the son of Li Wen. The man he had eaten as Chang went on with his story, and the young man's face grew angrier and angrier. "So it was you who killed my father," the young man shouted at him furiously. Chang Feng quickly stood up and apologized. He knew that he had gotten himself into a very serious situation. "I am sorry," said Chang. "I did not know that it was your father." The young man suddenly picked up a knife from the table and threw it at Chang. Luckily, it missed and fell with a clang on the floor. The young man rushed at Chang, but the other guests grabbed the man and held him back. "I will kill you to avenge my father's death. I will follow you to the ends of the earth," the young man shouted. The friends persuaded Chang Feng to leave the house at once and told him to hide for a while they tried to calm Li Wen's son. Everyone agreed that to avenge one's father's death was a noble thing. But after all, Chang Feng had eaten Li Wen when he was a tiger, and no one wanted to see more blood flow. It was an unusual situation, and it raised a difficult question whether revenge was right in this case under the circumstances. Still, the young man swore to kill Chang to avenge his father's death. Finally, the friends contacted the governor of the region. The governor ordered Li Wen's son to cross the Huai River and never to return. Chang Feng, on his part, changed his name and went to the northern part of the country to keep as far away from his enemy as possible. When Li Wen's son returned to his home, his friends said to him, "We know how you feel, and we sympathize with you. We understand why you want revenge for your father's death. However, Chang Feng ate your father when he was a tiger and is not responsible for his action. He did not know your father and had no reason to kill him. That was a strange and special case, but he did not plan to murder your father, and if you kill Chang Feng, you will be accused of murder yourself." The son respected this advice and decided not to hunt down Chang Feng anymore.